Music from the Soul as a company is tap dance and a live band, so that's like, a really important part of our identity. And I think at first we just thought it was, Leo came up with the title, and it was, we just thought it was like a clever pun that kind of showed what we are. We're making music with our feet, and we really are constantly trying to push this idea that we're all musicians and that tap dance is music also. So it's not just like dancers in a band, it's like a group of musicians that have different roles. The dancers are musicians, like the dance is music,
It's impossible to do tap dance, to perform tap dance without thinking of the history of the art form. So I feel responsible for that every time we are performing. This history is kind of a little hard because there are so many branches that led tap dance to the stage that the art form is right now. But there are a couple points on history that kind of highlight what this art form is about. First one is when enslaved people were trying to organize a communication and trying to run away from their masters by using drums as a form of communication. When the masters found out about that, they took the drums out, and those enslaved people also, to keep that was a form of communication, but also an art form for them, they translate that type of music to their whole body. Fast forward to like the Great Migration, and in New York City, African Americans were kind of living in the city, and there was this point in New York, this place in New York called the 5 Points District, and there were living African Americans and a lot of immigrants from Europe. So both like very poor communities, and it was one of the first places that integration was happening in the United States. Irish community in culture has their percussive dance form of dancing too as well, and the communication and the language between those two mixed it up. There was a lot of competition between African American dancers and Irish dancers, and one was kind of stealing and learning from the other. It's definitely a solo art form, and your way of dancing, it's very personal, and that's what actually pushes the art form to the point that it is today. Like there is a lot of battle and competition, and there is still happening through the day what we call cutting contests, where like we put just 2 tap dancers and they just battle between each other. There is not a formula for us to figure it out how to compose a song and like create a choreography. Sometimes I create a rhythmic idea that I have in my head and bring it to Greg, and then Greg on top of that rhythm creates a composition for that.
And in both cases, your question about like putting music to the choreography, the sound of the taps comes first almost always. It's like it's the music that they're making first, and then kind of the movement comes second. And then even on top of those like different situations, like Leo also writes music, so he'll write a melody and sing it to me over and over until I can put it down, and then I'll fill it out. And then also we have a really talented ensemble of in the band, so they also like contribute whole compositions that we'll then kind of like work on over months or years and kind of tailor them to our vision too.
Yeah, there is a lot of conversation between us about our feelings when we are creating a piece or like composing something. But it's clear to me that those things are born from our experiences as a group. Like there is this one song that we composed like during the pandemic in one of the first bubble residencies that we did as a company called Cat's Band. And it's very, very emotional for all of us who were in this bubble residency, and we never talked about it, but it always takes me back to that place when we play that song. It's very longing, it's very peaceful, it's a good sadness, Everyone in the band has a voice because in the band and the dancers, because we use a lot of improvisation into our work too as well, and that highlights each person's personality on the stage.
For me, when I think about the company, or even just the arts in frames of like, you know, black art, or you know, I think not the most important thing, but something that's really important for me is that we're like a black-led organization. You can make whatever art you want. You realize how important it is to see black people in a position of leadership, and you don't see it a lot. So, you know, and we have like our goals for like the next few years, even to like, can we diversify like our backstage crew? Like, can we find someone who does like audio or, you know, like lighting? For me, I feel like that is a really important statement and action and movement. I would say the majority of like performance that we have also have some component of like, you know, community outreach or teaching.
There's definitely like a feedback, literally feedback as we are teaching. I get totally energized about being in a room with students, and I really find ways to connecting with the students. We find ways to connecting with the students, and especially teaching together. It's like we watch for each other, and like it's literally an exchange. Like I mostly try to, especially in tap dance lessons, to ask names of tap dancers if they know the history or if they are connected, and if they understand the hard history behind tap dance history, and if they get it that that's an African American art dance form. I also feel responsible to let them know that this is actually a profession, being a performer, being a musician, being a dancer, and if you really wanted to be that, there is ways and possibilities.